I'm back. I know I just did a video on color or day old makeup, and I wanted to talk to you about something totally different today, or for this video anyway. Over the last few days, we have all been celebrating, or in some way or another, likely celebrating Independence Day. Independence for our country. We all know what that meant. We all know what that accomplished. We all know what it took to get there. I'm here to talk about personal independence. For those of you who knew me in high school, or even out of high school, my first, 19, when I was 19, 20, in my younger years before I had kids and got married, I was a very outgoing, not outspoken necessarily, but a very outgoing social person. If I wanted to meet somebody, I'd go up and introduce myself. If I liked a boy, I'd go up and introduce myself. If I wanted to borrow a guy's truck that I just met 2 hours ago when I reported to active duty, I'd say, hey, can I borrow your car keys? And yes, I really did do that. But as I got a little older, part of it had to do with my getting married and having kids. I understand that, and that's to be expected. But I really went complete polar opposite. I became this shell. I was going to work. I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing, but I wasn't enjoying life. I wasn't social. I was enjoying my kids. I was enjoying my husband. I was enjoying my job, but I wasn't enjoying life. I wasn't out there and introducing myself anymore. I wasn't out there meeting people. I wasn't out there doing the social thing. I'd come home from work. I was active duty at the time. I'd come home from work, tend to my husband, tend to my kids, decisions I will never in a million years regret, but then I wouldn't do anything else. And that was fine. But as I got a little older, as I got a lot older, here I am in my 40s, and about a year ago I realized, that's not really okay. I really needed to gain my self-image back, my self-respect back, my self-esteem back. I needed to gain my independence back. I needed to not rely on others for me to have fun. I needed not to rely on others to invite me to go do things. I needed not to rely on others to tell me I was a good person. I needed to learn to do that myself. And it's taken time, and I still got a long ways to go, but over the last year, probably more to the point, more of the last 6 months, I have really changed. I enjoy life now. I go out and do things. I'm still not a late night person, so I'm still not out there partying every night. Don't see me ever doing that one again. But I'm out there doing more things. I'm doing these runs that I never would have thought of doing. I'm making these videos that I never would have thought of doing. I'm smiling, which I never used to do. And these are all because I realized I can't keep living the way I was living. I had a great marriage. I have 2 wonderful kids. I had a great support system. And, my life was great. But you couldn't tell that by looking at me. I didn't smile. I was very shy. I'd be the one in the party, at the party that was hiding back in the corner, hoping no one would talk to me. Still do that to some extent, but not quite as much. I know part of the reason I became that way was because I did gain weight. And I understand that, and I realized that was at least part of it. I was part of the emotional side of it. Is I was afraid of what people would think. I was afraid of the finger pointing. I was afraid of the oh my gosh, she's so overweight. I never really looked that terribly overweight, but in my opinion, I always did. So I was that person. And then when I realized I don't want to be that person anymore, I started making the steps I needed to make to come out of that shell. I started working out. I started exercising. I started eating healthy. I started meeting things. I started meeting new challenges. I started meeting new people. I started doing things I never would have thought of doing. I mean, if you'd asked me 3 years ago if I'd ever thought I would run half marathons, okay, I attempt to run. I still don't run them very good. I'd have laughed at you. But here we are. I've now done 3 of them. I've done more 5K runs than I can count. I'm making these videos, which in a million years I never would have thought of putting myself out there to do. I'm out there making new friends. I'm out there trying to find myself again. I always joked around when my kids were little, saying I was going to make the t-shirt that said, if found, please return to me. Please return to Rochelle, because, I could never find myself anymore. As moms, any of us can probably relate to that. We become mom. We don't become our own personal person. And I'm glad I finally made the changes. Like I said, I do have a long ways to go. And I do have a great support system, including my husband and my kids, who are out there, hey, you're doing great. You can do this, go out. My husband's always encouraging me to go out and do something, oh, you want to go out with the girls tonight? You want to go out for girls' night out with the girls? Call them, go do something. You know, my daughter's always, oh, you want to do a run, Mom? Go ahead. You can do it. I know you can do it. My son's always, he's always the emotional support for me. He's like, you know, love you, Mom. You can do this. You know, both of my kids and my husband and even my parents have been a great support system for me to come out of this shell that I was in. And I'm very glad I finally have. Like I said, I do have a ways to go. But I want to be able to help others do that. And if that's through making these videos, or if that's through, you know, coming up to you at the run when I've never met you before and said, hi, my name's Rochelle. I see we're right about the same pace. You want to run together? Yes, I've done that too. You know, whatever it takes, I want to be able to help people gain that independence, that internal independence back. And for women, I feel this is especially important because, you know, so many women I see in my job are so dependent on men and so dependent on men to, you know, pay the bills, make the decisions, do this, do that, and something drastic happens, a divorce, you know, divorce, death, illness, whatever, and they don't have that anymore, and they just don't know what to do. They end up lost, and that scares me. I don't want to see our young girls going down that road. I mean, I see older women doing it too. I see, you know, I've had women in their 60s come in and are doing that. You know, they've had the husband all their lives, or all their adult lives, who did everything, and their husbands now died, and they don't know how to do anything. And I want to prevent that. I want to do whatever I can to prevent that. I want to make sure our young girls realize you don't have to rely on others for your independence. You don't have to rely on others to give you that pat on the back. You don't have to rely on others to say, good job, girl. You can do that yourself. You know, it's important for men as well, but I see it especially in women. And I don't know if that's just because men are a little less likely to talk about it, but I do see that in a lot of women of, you know, all ages. And it scares me, like I said, and I want to do what I can to prevent that. So, you know, like I said, if that's making these little videos, I'll do that. If that's, you know, talking to somebody, I'll do that. So if you or somebody you know needs that little support system, that little cheerleader, that little you can do this, by all means, you know, be that person for them. Find that person to be that for you, whatever it takes. Anyway, hope everyone had a great 4th of July weekend. Hope you got to relax, enjoy, spend some time with friends and family, and everyone is ready to go back to work tomorrow on Monday. It's supposed to be nice here in Washington State anyway. Talk to you guys later. Bye.